Good morning, folks. If the camera is shaking a little bit in this video, there's nothing wrong with the camera. It's my body that's actually shaking. The air temp is 37, 38. It is Black Friday, but I have nothing to buy. I have become very kind of price insensitive these days. There is very few things. I work from home. I don't need anything. The only things that I buy is something fishing, but even fishing, I only like Japanese stuff, and rarely something grabs my attention. And if something grabs my attention, I'm not gonna wait until Black Friday to buy it. I just buy it right away. I'm not gonna wait for 20% off. Not to mention, with my luck, the stuff that I want doesn't even get a discount on Black Friday. I just bought a pair of pants, fishing pants, cold weather pants. Not gonna tell you the brand, there was no discount. I went and I checked and I liked the pants and I bought them. On Black Friday, zero discount. Anyway, one of the things that I bought full price and that I'm excited to share with you today, man, I am shaking. This is Abu Garcia Diplomat. I don't know if it's extreme. Doesn't say extreme. I had the Diplomat Extreme and I sold it. It was amazing rod, extremely sensitive, amazing craftsmanship. Everything was amazing. Couldn't get used to that solid tip. Every time I set the hook, the solid tip would bend and kill everything. It would just blunt everything. It would blunt the bites. It would blunt everything during the fight. Anyway, I don't want to make this video about solid tips. You know, the comments that I get saying things like, you should try this rod, you should try this reel. Sometimes I tell them, why don't you try it and let me know. But anyway, sometimes I do get very valuable information from these comments, so I do pay attention to what people recommend. And one gentleman told me, hey, they released a tubular tip Diplomat. Thank you very much, buddy. When he sent me this message, just 15 minutes later, I had already purchased the rod. I kid you not. I couldn't wait 1 hour. I couldn't wait until the next day. You want me to wait until Black Friday? And is this rod really gonna be on sale Black Friday? Anyway, fished for a couple of hours already with this rod. I wanted to make like the first cast in the video, catch the first fish. I can't find good fish. I caught maybe 4 or 5 fish for 2 hours. I'll admit it. The fish are kind of deep and I don't have the right lure. I tried even casting a Keitech. Let me tell you, the fish is not eating a Keitech today. I saw it on live scope. I ran through the school. They would not eat a Keitech. I think we are done with Keitech in this lake for the winter. I think I'm gonna get a Nico worm on one of these tiny hooks and put it under the float and fish that in the winter again. But yeah, for the winter we're gonna need to do some smaller lures. The fish is very deep. It is hugging the bottom. It's not suspended, like just from week to week, folks. Every time everything's so different. Okay, back to the rod. Today the purpose of the video is catch some fish with the rod. This lure here is not appropriate for the fishing conditions. This is what I tied at home. It's 125-10 with a trout worm. I killed them on this thing last time. Today this is too big. The fish are too deep. I don't have the patience. I was testing the Keitech if they would bite. They wouldn't bite, folks. they didn't bite this worm. So I threw the Kitech. They're just not biting very good today in this cold, dirty water. But the Kitech was on the new Vanford, and there is a fish. The new Vanford, I don't know if I don't remember if I put different grease or something, but from the cold weather, the new Vanford had so much resistance. At home it didn't have resistance. Well, it had just a little bit more than the old. But it had so much resistance. It's not because of the reel. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about the design or big teeth or anything like that. But depending on the grease that you're using for the gears in very cold weather, the grease thickens. And when it thickens, you get a bunch of extra resistance. And the reel that I put on the Abu Garcia Diplomat is the Cardiff. So it's the old. Is this fish still here? I caught one. There's still some, maybe different school. So this is the old Vanford. I don't remember what grease I put on this reel. I need to start writing these things down because I have so many greases. I want to try them all, but I don't remember what I put on which reel. But this reel turns like, even in the cold, you can see, this reel turns like nothing. This Cardiff, which is the old Vanford, even in this cold weather, has near zero resistance. But enough about the Vanfords. This video is gonna be about this rod, and I can already tell you what I knew at home. You know, I've at this point I've done this enough to just tap the rod twice against the carpet in my office. That's all I need, to tap it twice, and I feel the vibration in my arm. And I can tell you, this rod, folks, this rod is sensitivity freak. It's not that light. It's some 20 grams heavier than the Presso Air AGS 6'1", same length. 20 grams, but 20 grams doesn't sound like a lot. But that is fish number 2. Oh my goodness, this tubular tip, folks. This is how the rod should have always been. Oh, I wonder how Abu Garcia decided to make the exact same rod but with a tubular tip. Now they still make the solid tip, by the way, because so many of you bought the solid tip. They're still making that, but they decided to release a tubular tip model now. I wonder how. I wonder if somebody asked them, hey, do you have tubular tip? Feels so good, folks. But I was saying this rod is 20 grams more than the Presso Air AGS. But if I convert this to percentages, that's like 50% heavier, because the Presso Air AGS is like 44 grams. So 20 grams more is another 50% more. So if I tell you 20 grams more, okay, that's not that bad. If I tell you 50% heavier, you'll be like, get out of here. But, as much as I like my Presso Air AGS, I have to tell you this rod is more sensitive. For those of you who care about nothing else, this rod is, there is a few freaky rods that are extremely sensitive. That, to tell you the truth, I never liked even one of them. Because if you don't know, sensitivity is not, I like sensitivity, I like it a lot. but I'm not gonna sacrifice a lot of something else for a little bit of extra sensitivity. For example, I'm not gonna sacrifice casting. I'm not gonna sacrifice the joy of playing the fish to get just a little bit more sensitivity. If you're all about sensitivity, this rod is comparable to something like the Corto prototype. That rod didn't like the action, very stiff, but sensitivity, oof. All of those super sensitive rods, the first 50% of the rod does not participate in anything. Does not participate in the cast, does not participate in fighting the fish. The first 50% of the rod is just an extension of the tip, just to make the tip longer. It's just an extension, but does not participate in anything. That's one unifying feature of all of these crazy sensitive rods. And that's the reason I sold the solid tip version of the same rod. I like the handle, I like the cross, everything, sensitivity, but it was only the tip that was bending, and the tip was bending too much. The first half was not bending enough, and the tip was bending too much. Oh, this rod, folks. This rod. It should have always been like this. Why did you even release it with the solid tip? This tubular tip now, when you snap it and the fish is dead, tap, such crispness, folks. Oh, this is exactly what I was missing. Exactly what I was missing. Can tell you already. Feeling the 125-10, which is not a very light jig, let's be honest. The 125-10 with twitching with this rod is crisp. I can confirm that even with a little bit of wind. If anything, my hands are pretty numb right now. I'm surprised I can feel anything at all. I want to tell you, these gloves are super thin and super breathy. In the summer, your hands will not sweat. So, and this is the first winter I fished with them. Okay, I fished with some prototypes. Take that back. But man, this bluegill, such fun with this rod. Tubular tip is the way to go. But today, folks, I can tell these gloves are actually keeping my hands from here to here just warm enough. That's amazing. The only thing that I can't feel is the tip of my fingers that is not protected by the gloves. Now I'm thinking maybe I need to make a full finger version of the gloves with only just 1 or 2 fingers cut off, like this one, because you need to hold the line, maybe these 2 to remove the hook. I need to think this through, but maybe I need to close the other fingers to make a winter version of the gloves, because they're thin enough to still be sensitive. Because these winter gloves, once you put them on, what's the point of buying a Japanese rod? Once you put these thick gloves on, don't tell me you can feel everything. You can't feel nothing anymore. It's still cold, but I'm wondering if my fingertips were protected. Oh, one right here. And a crappie. Yeah, this rod is the tip feel that I always wanted. The tip feel, the feeling of the tip on setting the hook. Crispiness. So yeah, today we're gonna catch some fish. Oh boy. Today we're gonna catch some fish. Tomorrow we're gonna catch some fish. And Sunday we're gonna catch some fish. Every day we're gonna catch some fish with this rod. But I recommend wait until the review, because if you can afford only one Japanese rod and you want to do everything with that rod, this is not the rod to buy. Man, it's cold, folks. Why I have so many layers and I'm still cold? Let me show you what I tied on. I tied on a tiny little, but this is a tungsten jig. We have to downsize, folks, because most of these fish are bluegill. Why am I not catching bluegill? Let me just give you a good comparison. Can you compare this with this? Look, so much smaller. And this is the 1.5 beautiful with Keitech that I tried, but nobody wanted to touch this. So yeah, downsizing, but the tungsten jig head doesn't have the slant, the forehead on top to give you the resistance and the feel, but it is 1.5 gram instead of the 1.25. So we're gonna feel it just fine, I'm sure. Also, this one has a little bit of tail, so we can twitch it, swim it, whatever we want. Here we have more weight in less volume, significantly less volume. So it casts a lot better against the wind. But when you're twitching it, it's very easy to move forward. For those of you with good geometric imagination, when you're twitching this tiny little tungsten jig, it comes forward very easy because there is no resistance in the water. It's tiny. It's tiny. That's why the twitch is not as crisp. But it works. Folks, I'll be honest with you. I cannot get anything to work properly right now. I'm happy we have enough fish in the video, because I might... Oh, there's one more. Might cut this video short. I'll be honest with you, I'm seeing fish. I'm seeing fish, but I can't get them to bite. I mean, last time they were hitting everything. Didn't matter what you threw. Right now, I thought they definitely didn't want to touch the Keitech. They were tapping the worm. Man, it's so cold. They were tapping the worm, but it was taking too many casts to find one of them to take it, to commit. I thought downsizing would help. Well, it helped with casting. Oof, cold. It helped with casting, but they're still tapping it, and sometimes not even tapping it. There is one though. Yeah, we got enough fish. Man, this reel turns so easy. This is a good combo, folks. I'm recommending you right now, if you buy this rod, the Cardiff matches this rod perfectly. The weight, the accents. Look at the beige accents on the spool. They match the beige accents of the rod. And this reel is like dark green. This rod is like dark brown. But brown and green, you know, brown and green are like peanut butter and jelly. Brown and green is, first of all, they both look kind of dark gray, to tell you the truth. Without perfect light, they both look the same. Just trust me. The Cardiff looks amazing and feels amazing. with this rod. Looks and feels and sounds amazing too. Much better than the new one for sure. I think we are out of fish to catch, folks. Notice that I'm not saying we're out of fish. We're out of fish to catch. I think there is still plenty of little bluegill that are too stressed out from the muddy cold water. There was a few crappie here, but I caught them in the first 10 minutes of the video. And now I'm just left with the bluegill that are just tapping it. It's just a very inefficient use of my time. So I feel like the end is near. Feel the end of this video is near. We gotta change the game. First of all, we gotta get behind the windshield and warm up a little bit to stop shaking. And second of all, we gotta try the float with some tiny little jig. Man, the tip of the rod, I can finally feel the tip. Now you know exactly how far from your hand the tip is. You have such a nice tip feel with this new tubular tip model. It should always have been tubular. Folks, this is the last fish of this video. I know we caught nicer fish in this video, but this is not working what we're doing right now. Too many casts between fish. The downsizing, I gotta tell you, I had very high expectations, did not help. Maybe it made it worse. Maybe the bigger worm was more appealing to the crappie, and it's the crappie that I've been catching here anyway. But thank you for watching this one. Overall, the tubular tip model version of the Diplomat is exactly what I expected it to be. I expected it to be a twitch specialist, and it is a twitch specialist. It has a good angle in the sun. I think they look this and this and this and this. The whole thing looks pretty good together. Yeah, that's the end of this one, but there will be plenty of videos with this rig in the next couple of weeks. Watch out for those, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.